there were a couple of concepts on the psychology side about, because it's not about intelligence of what makes success. Successful people are not necessarily intelligent people. I think it helps to be intelligent to be successful. But what the things
So
that
you're
are,
telling me I have a chance?
yeah, the things that make successful people in our business, I think it's a whole different thing if you want to be a neuroscientist.
Right.
Okay, you better be a damn smart son of a
Intelligent, yeah,
bitch.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
but you talked about the relationship kind of thing. You know, you gotta be more socially aware. Okay, and you've got to just have like instinct and common sense for you know what's going to lead to success. And I don't know. When I was there, I came away with the, you know, I guess the impression that there were things that were valuable to track and kind of test for, and then other things that were like, this is a complete waste because it's going to give me information that's of no value in the long run. I mean, we see it in the furniture industry. I have worked with guys who've been wildly successful as furniture representatives and don't know shit about furniture. Okay, why? Well, I don't know. The same reason why people who come into I've talked to other retailers. Okay, people who come into furniture stores as successful salespeople. It's not because they know something about furniture. It's because they're really good at dealing with people, and they put people at ease and comfort, and they, you know, and they're happy to buy from them. It's like gauge that. I don't know. Okay.
Well, that was nice because we were able to pick the best sellers and things like that. What you found was,
Bitch, I can see you falling asleep while I'm telling my story.
I'm not falling asleep. Look, just try it.
Everybody, welcome to the Two Homeboys podcast. Our special guest, Dennis Hoy of FMG.
Good to be here.
Absolute living legend in the industry.
Hardly.
I think if you don't know Dennis, where have you been?
Right. But that's what happens when you're around for 45 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
You get to meet a lot of people. So.
Well, around for 40 years, and you're a likable guy.
Well, thank you.
You know, because if you weren't, you know, what do they say? Friends come and go, enemies accumulate. And I don't
That's
think
an
you have.
interesting-
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Keep that one.
Yeah, I learned that from Bill Bernson.
Emily's accumulate. Enemies. Test.
Oh,
Got
no.
it.
See, you should have done the unique New York.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Good. So, what does FMG stand for,
Furniture Marketing Group.
and what is that?
We are a member-owned organization of 100 retail stores across the country, primarily non-competing. People start out non-competing. Sometimes retailers have success and they end up growing into each other's territories. So I can't say that nobody is competing with another member. But the idea is really networking more than any kind of a pricing model group. We do have a rebate program with just about any vendor that we work with. We work with service vendors and product vendors. We operate, though, as I said, we are member owned. We are not we're not a nonprofit, but we operate as a co-op, and we are not incentivized in any way to make money. We are incentivized to bring benefits to our members. And the members, what the biggest benefit is contact with other members and networking with other members. They also benefit from networking with the vendor suppliers. So we kind of act as eyes and ears, looking for new products and new things out there that might help a retailer make another dollar. Okay, it's really, the idea here is we are interested in anything that might support somebody who's operating a retail store.
In furniture.
In furniture, home furnishings, yeah. It's
Okay.
furniture, mattresses, our areas, accessories, to a very lesser degree, rugs. And there are a few of our other our members who are into other things. A lot of our members are into appliances. We don't have anything to do with appliances You know, for appliances, people need to be in other groups, not in FMG. But home furnishings, the things that you would find walking into, walking into a home furnishing store, which might be mirrors on the walls, and they might be, you know, rugs on the floor, but definitely be sofas or bedrooms or, you know, dining sets. That's what we're about.
I think one of the cool things about FMG, and I am a vendor partner of FMG, I mean Classy Living is.
And so is Tango.
So is Tango, there you go. So I think one of the coolest things about the symposium, which is their annual conference, is that all of the educational seminars are open to the vendors as well. And I learned so much every time I'm there, and I don't skip a meeting or a presentation, but I always come back with all these notes, and everybody's always worried about them because we're changing everything.
Everything you're doing last month is crap.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
our symposium is different from just about any other kind of event that happens in the industry in that we have no product at our events. I mean, it's all about ideas.
yeah.
It's all about, and who knows what it's going to be. The big idea that our members were discussing at the last day, I don't think you were there at the time, but it was PEP plans, which is a different thing for retirement 401k plans for employees. Okay, and nobody goes to this event thinking that's what I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, how am I going to save money and give my employees a good program. Okay, and yeah, and so if you walk away with one good idea,
Yeah.
it pays for itself.
Yeah, little nuggets. Jonathan Smith was, you know, one of the first people I knew. That was when I went. It was like, you know, I was attached to him because he was the only guy I knew, right? And he was like, I always walk away with a nugget that just, you know, next year brings $1 million, you know, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right, and they don't come from us; they come from other members
Right.
most of the time.
Right.
And you know, or the
Or the
speakers
panels and
yeah.
things. Yeah.
Right.
But they could come from you as well, because you've been doing this furniture thing for a while.
Me?
Yeah.
I've been doing this furniture. It seems like forever, but
Yeah.
So how did you get to, what was the path that led you to FMG?
I got out of school in 1980, and for all those young people now who say how hard it is that there's unemployment and life and business is tough. In 1980, we had 14% interest rates and 9% unemployment. Okay,
God.
there weren't a hell of a lot of jobs. It was really, really a challenging time. I had worked for Hecht's department store part-time at summers and holidays and whatnot, and I was fortunate enough to get involved in the management training program there. And so I worked at Hecht's for 5 years, eventually moving from stores into the buying offices, and then said, yeah, I don't think the department store future is the path for me. I think, but I do like furniture, and so I got into just furniture stores up in the Baltimore, Washington area, and spent 2 years with Reliable Stores, which is another blast from the past name. Probably doesn't mean anything to many people, but at one time they were a top, top 20 retailer.
Really.
And then left there to go to work for Marlowe. Worked at Marlowe Furniture for 9 years, and it was a lot of fun. It was a nice. Yeah, you just have to know that environment at the time. The owner was a crazy man, a brilliant man. Okay, and I learned a lot. People told me when I went there, nobody ever lasts 3 years. Okay. And I was
It's encouraging.
God.
but they said it's the greatest education you'll ever get. And I worked for him for 9 years, and I actually,
Yeah.
I admired him. I didn't want him as a neighbor, but I admired him. He's a fantastic businessman, and I don't know, just part of a different era of retail.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, basically that's how I got into furniture, was on the retail side, and then I switched from that to the wholesale side. And then spent the next, I spent 9 years at Bassett Furniture, and then 4 years at Collesia and Europa, and then a few other years beyond that, and then boom, at FMG.
Okay.
So you've
Yeah.
been around. You've done just about every part of the business.
I actually have. I another thing showing age. Okay, so I consider myself the Chico Simone of the furniture industry.
Who's
So-
Chico
Yeah,
Simone?
that's what I said. Chico Simone was a guy who played baseball in the '60s. Okay,
A lot of people
and
play.
he was able to play everything.
Oh, every
He played every position.
Shortstop, third
Okay?
base. Okay.
He wasn't great at anything.
Yeah.
But he could play every position. So I always, felt like I was that Chico
Gotcha.
Simone. I've done accounting and I've done sales and I've managed Salesforce and I've been product development and I've been responsible for manufacturing. And I've traveled overseas and worked factories overseas. There aren't many, places I haven't hit.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sounds like it's time for
A lot of refreshment
Yeah,
donated from our good friends at Zips Liquor.
Oh, Zips.
Zips, good old Zips.
That's a great name.
where is Zips? Are they in Houston?
Texas, just all on the outskirts of Houston, I would
Okay.
say.
That's good. I've explained to these guys. I'm not a liquor drinker. Not
Yeah,
that I
me
never
too.
was, but I'm not. I'm just a beer drinker these days.
So we,
Smells like money.
money I don't have.
That's why you were looking for a donation from Zip.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Zip and his old man Rip.
Yeah,
All right.
Cheers,
yeah.
guys.
Here,
Thanks
Yeah,
for
cheers, guys.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'm-
Smells strong.
It's pretty good.
No swish necessary.
No,
Yeah, no,
that's pretty good.
I will say it was very smooth.
Give me some more.
Nice.
I'm not, as I say, I'm not a liquor
Well, you
drinker.
sure pounded it like you are.
Well, I'm just out of practice. About 30
that's
years
good.
out of practice.
Yeah. Well, there was one night.
But yeah,
There was one
there
night.
it was the pickle juice or whatever.
The
that killed me.
pickleback. So
God.
our friend Tim, passed away during COVID, and we had a real nice kind of dinner honoring him in Vegas.
Yep.
And one of the things I remember most about him was every day of every market, he'd come in and he'd say, "Where's the pickleback?" So I introduced him to a pickleback shot, but
Yeah.
with vodka, not with Jameson. So when we were all together, we were telling stories and had the waitress bring a tray of picklebacks. What was the restaurant? It was
I could take you there, but I
it's
can't remember the
because
name of it.
the one with the
It was a southern
bull
Texas,
riding.
Yeah,
with
Texas,
the bull riding in Vegas.
It was
That
across-
little bar at-
Tilly's.
No,
Tilly's?
yeah, it was-
Tilly's.
Yeah.
Tilly's.
yeah,
Or some. No,
Tilly's.
Tilly's is
it's
Jillian's.
so close. Jilly's.
Chili's.
Jilly's.
Yeah.
Jilly's. Yeah.
Yeah. Gillies.
Gillies.
There it is. We'll get three brains.
Right.
At that pirate
Jilly's.
theme.
We'll get there,
Yeah,
folks.
it
Just
was
give us
right
a
across
minute.
It was right across the street from the Venetian there.
Yeah.
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 Well, that was a fun night.
Yeah. Gilly's was great.
Yeah.
But greatest guy ever worked
Oh, my
with.
God.
I mean, he's so much fun. That's why I left Bassett and went to Coliseum. I didn't go there because of Coliseum. I went there because Tim said, "You need to come here. I need the help." And basically, we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And anytime you were around Tim, you always had a lot of fun.
Always. And how did you meet Tim? Because I know that he was
When I left Reliable Stores, Tim was already working
already at Marlowe's.
Marlowe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So we did business with Marlowe's, but we were working with Neil.
Right.
And I just remember him being, no offense, Neil, I know he's still around and he's involved with FMG as another vendor, but at the time he was just a dick. He was a buyer. He was a buyer, and we wanted to sell him, and so he was very aggressive.
Yeah.
That was the culture.
Do aggressive buyers? I'm already regretting
Okay.
starting this
I
question.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
You're not gonna. Do aggressive buyers get better deals than?
No, absolutely not.
Generally,
back then.
No. Okay, now, and I'm gonna go back to our friend Tim. Okay, I've never seen anybody get better deals than Tim. Okay,
and-
and the amazing thing is, he would walk in, he'd steal your socks and underwear
And
off of you,
feel good about it.
and people would be going, "When are you going to come back?"
Yeah.
Okay, looking forward to the next time
Yeah.
he was there. So there is a real challenge. You talked about Jonathan Smith and Ivan Smith. I don't know Ivan Smith well, but I do know the reputation he had was that he got great deals. Okay,
And
because he's a heck
to
of a
l-
nice guy.
And he's so delightful. And it was the same as Tim. Like, nobody got deals from us. Tim did.
And-
Like, we would have clearance, closeouts, things, and he would go, we would give him beyond those prices and felt good about it. And we celebrate after. It was just the nicest guy.
But part of it, if I might interrupt, is that there was a relationship. Okay, you knew you were going to get something back from him.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to forget. He wasn't going to walk away and just say,
Yeah.
you know, I screwed Gabe, and you know, you wouldn't believe it. But he's going to say, yeah, I screwed Gabe. I'll make it up to him.
Yeah. Well, we would joke about it too.
Yeah.
You know, and you could. It was fun.
And so is that the move? If you're a buyer, to be nice, and like you just keep. Is it the being nice that gets you the deal? Is it the continuous
No.
asking for better and better and better? Or
I
is it
think I do
being
believe.
patient and kind of.
I do believe if you don't ask, you don't get.
Right.
But I also believe the deeper the relationship, the easier it is to give that customer. In fact, I remember I was telling one of our staff members, like, hey, maybe that's not a good one to get that close to, because as vendors, we want to get close to, right? It's easier to
you
get them
make
to
a
the
little
showroom. It's
mistake,
easier. Yeah, you can talk to them like a friend and things like that. And it was one that you knew if there was too close, later they're going to ask for more. And so, you know, there's a bit of that, but I definitely think it's how close you are to that person, you know.
So is it a thing that could be taught, or is it a thing that some people just have?
Oh, it can be taught to a degree.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, the part that can be taught is that, okay, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. In every negotiation, both guys have to feel like they walked away with a win in some sense. Okay, maybe I'm not going to get anything today out of this, but I have to know have to feel like I'm going to get something down the road. Okay, there has to be that kind of relationship. The furniture industry is different from most industries because we're still relationship driven. Okay, it does matter. I don't know that it matters as much today as it did 30 years ago. Okay, but it still does matter.
Yeah.
The whole thing about pushing too hard. Well, I was told, you talked about Neil, okay, Neil Glickman, and one thing I will tell you was really remarkable about him. He was absolutely deaf to the word no.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
He's asking for something, and you're saying no. He doesn't stop. Just kept going, and not with animosity, not threatening you or anything. Just ignoring when you say no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And keep hammering.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was taught as a buyer, okay, which was you don't stop until you've heard no 3 times.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
You keep coming back. When a guy says I can't do that, it's like no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a good segue. So you can teach the tactics, but there's also the likability portion, right? So some people, everybody
hard.
loves, and some people don't, which segues into, tell us about Charm School.
Charm School?
Yeah, I heard you went to Charm School. What was that
Oh, I
like?
was going to say, I didn't.
Well, how did you get into it? What caused that, and what did you think
You
of it?
seem very charming, so it worked.
I know.
So Charm School is a term that was used when I was at Bassett Furniture Industries, which I wasn't the first person who's ever been sent to Charm School, but was if you needed to take a few rough edges off, maybe you needed to go. And this is on interpersonal relationships and management style. Okay, so this is completely different from buying.
Okay.
100%
Okay.
different from buying. So I was in charge of Bassett's upholstery division, a position I was completely unqualified for.
Okay.
And when I was promoted to it, I said, I wouldn't do this if I were you. to
Yeah.
Rob Spellman, who promoted me to that position. He always thought that was hilarious. That, you know, I said,
Yeah.
you got more guts than me, that I wouldn't do this. But I took over the upholstery division, and at the time they sent me there, it was heading straight for the mountain. I mean, it was about to crash into the damn ground. And we fought like hell to turn things around. And there was just a meeting with myself and the chairman of Bassett Furniture and Rob Spellman, who was CEO at that time. And maybe there was a strong defense on my part. Okay?
So when you say got sent to charm school, you really mean I got sentenced.
And so afterwards, Rob was very concerned. And I frankly, I talked with Paul Fulton multiple times after that, and I don't think Paul was concerned. But I think Rob was very concerned that Paul was going to say, "Who is this asshole?" Okay, and so they sent me to Florida to charm school, which was it was enjoyable. I got a week in Florida, and it was at Tampa, Eckerd College,
Okay.
right on the water in Tampa. It was nice.
And you feel like you learned something, or it had an impact?
Oh, I think it was beneficial. I did learn something. Not everything I learned was beneficial, but there's a lot of psychology stuff that was involved in it,
Sure.
which I think is mostly crap.
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter became a psychology major, and 3 years into it, she said, "What am I doing? This is useless."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, that's okay. I did political science. That was useless
Yeah.
too." So,
Nice. Well,
So can you recall something about that charm school that changed the way you behave, the way you think about things, the way you interact, something?
that's an interesting question. Anything? I can recall that I entered with the idea that I'm not wrong. I didn't need to be here. Okay. But I didn't fight
Rookie
it.
mistake.
emergency contact. You can't get it out.
Yeah, I didn't fight the whole idea of being there. Okay, which I think anybody who knew me thought I would be very defensive and fight the whole thing. In fact, I kind of turned it around and embraced the whole thing. Okay, and was like, "Oh, he's really involved. He's participating." There were a couple of concepts on the psychology side about, because it's not about intelligence of what makes success. Successful people are not necessarily intelligent people. I think it helps to be intelligent to be successful. But what the things
So
that
you're
are,
telling me I have a chance?
yeah, the things that make successful people in our business, I think it's a whole different thing if you want to be a neuroscientist.
Right.
Okay, you better be a damn smart son of a
Intelligent. Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
but you talked about the relationship kind of thing. You gotta be more socially aware. Okay, and you've got to just have like instinct and common sense for what's going to lead to success. And I don't know. When I was there, I came away with the impression that there were things that were valuable to track and kind of test for, and then other things that were like, this is a complete waste because it's going to give me information that's of no value in the long run. I mean, we see it in the furniture industry. I have worked with guys who've been wildly successful as furniture representatives and don't know shit about furniture. Okay, why? Well, I don't know. The same reason why people who come into I've talked to other retailers. Okay, people who come into furniture stores as successful salespeople. It's not because they know something about furniture. It's because they're really good at dealing with people, and they put people at ease and comfort, and and they're happy to buy from them. It's like, well, how do you gauge that? I don't know. Okay, but I know that it's important. I know a couple of different cases specifically where people who came to work for the companies I was working for went from not knowing anything about furniture to being the top salesperson in 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, how the hell did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's because every time they talked to Mrs. Jones, there was a connection,
Yeah.
and it worked.
Yeah.
So
Well-
what do you think retailers are doing wrong today? What are they doing wrong? What are they not paying enough attention to? What's getting in their way? And then I'd also be curious to know what they're doing right.
Yeah, I think the things that they're doing right are also the things they're doing wrong, which is kind of
Explain that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, the thing that they're doing wrong, okay, compared to the olden days, okay, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, okay, is they don't feel that their job is to sell the products that vendors make. Okay, in the old days, and I never actually saw it firsthand, but people talked about Sammy Finger or Fingers Furniture, walking around with his cane, and I'll take a truck of that and a truck of that and a truck of that, okay? And he felt it was his responsibility to move that product. Okay, today's model is it's his responsibility to put it on the floor, and it's your responsibility to have it in backup. Okay, but there's a whole different kind of attitude on the retailer's part. When I got 600 of them sitting in the warehouse, okay, I really got to move those damn things. Okay, as opposed to I got 8 of them in the warehouse, and I can get more if Gabe could ship them to me. And retail was more about, home furnishings retailer was more about moving the stuff that you committed to. You got excited about it, that's why you bought it, okay? Then you worked to get that product moved. And when you made a mistake, and you always did, I mean, that's part of the deal, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna buy stuff that doesn't sell. There are a number of groups over the years I've been aware of or involved in that failed miserably. And everyone agreed it was the greatest thing. Okay? What retailers do now, which is really good, okay, is they focus on gross margin return on investment, which is, thank you, Ron Wanick. Okay, I know Ron long time. Okay, I mean Ron doesn't have chemical engineering degree or whatever, okay? I mean, he's a brilliant guy, and he understands that the most important thing is how much money, if I give you $100, okay, and say, come back to me in 6 months with what you can turn that $100 into, and you come back with $180, okay, well, that's a good thing, okay? And that's what gross margin return on investment is just turning $1 today into $2 tomorrow. And the key to that is turnover, is managing inventory. And I think the danger, I guess where I'm looking at this, is the danger is that people have become afraid to take chances, afraid to go out on a limb, afraid to buy something and say, shit, I'll see if it sells. And if it does, I'll order more. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to go to the vendor and say, "Oh my God, I took your word and I tried this and it didn't work, and you need to pick it up and whatnot."
That's really an interesting point. I've never thought of that. But looking at our dealers that are growing in this condition, they do that. They take those risks.
Got to take risks.
Yeah.
Follow the gut, just go with it.
Yeah, and you're going to make mistakes anyways. Well, like you said, no matter what.
I've always found it interesting when you see giant crews of buyers walking around market, and they've got tablets and making notes, doing all this stuff, and I think you're all just guessing.
Yeah.
You're just guessing, like you doing all this analysis and all these things, and at the end, we're just saying, all right, I think this will sell, and it was just a guess. The customer gets to decide whether it's actually going to sell or not. So it's what's all the analyzing that's happening here when you're just going to end up throwing a dart and hoping that it works.
Have you ever read Bob Lutz?
No.
Okay, who was vice chairman of General Motors, I think, and he was chairman. I don't know. He held every job there was in the automobile industry. He wrote a book called Guts, and he talked about focus groups. Okay, and doing the research of asking consumers.
Yeah.
Okay, and he said basically focus groups are worthless. Okay, that was his take, and yet he thought they were important at the same time. Okay, and so he said the problem with focus groups was it's like rate the car on a scale of 1 to 10. And if I recall correctly, you talked about the Chevy Beretta, which was a car back in around 1990. And he said, you know, the Chevy Beretta got a 7 score. Okay, which is just good enough that nobody will ever buy one. Okay. And then the Dodge Ram pickup truck had just come out, okay? And it got like a horrible score, it got like a 2. And he said, but if you looked at really closely at data, it only got a 0 or a 10, okay? And he said, you know, I don't need to sell every person who wants to buy a car or a truck. But if I get a core group of people who really are interested, I can have a wildly successful item. And Dodge Ram's still around today.
Yeah.
The Beretta's not.
Yeah.
Okay, the Beretta's gone. So the research thing is really interesting. And you do research. You reach out to your customers and say, before you even put product in the warehouse, right?
Yep. We reach out to our customer's customer.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
we're
the end
consumer.
user.
Yeah, but we're not scaling it on 1 to
Do you want a
10.
refill?
Please.
No, thank you.
So we don't do the rate it 1 through 10. Instead, we just let them vote on as many products as they like, right? So they'll just heart or comment on the ones that they like.
Right.
And so, but yeah, that's been very, very successful for us.
You're asking the right people.
Right. Yeah, because the thing is, and I tell our customers this, it's like, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what you like. Like, it really doesn't, you know. I'd rather bring you something you don't like that's going to sell.
Well, this is the bridge with the comment about we're just guessing. Okay? Well, you're making an educated guess. We've at least asked. It's still guessing,
Right.
but we've at least asked,
Right.
and we have a basis
Right.
for the guess.
Yep.
I used to buy stuff because I was just guessing.
Yeah.
I thought, and I'm going to just tell this one story. Sid Langer, okay, was a really important furniture designer in the 80s and 90s. Affiliated Furniture was around. Sid was a true artist, a world-class artist, okay? He was a brilliant mind. Piliad was made crap furniture, but it sold, okay? I've never known anybody who had a better feel for what would work at retail. I was part of a group, an advisory group for Piliad, okay? And we all saw this one group that Sid brought out, which was the Maryland. And it was this black with lipstick red, okay, and a beautiful mirror and leather. And we all thought it was absolutely no way this could fail. And it turned out to be like the greatest dog in the history of Piliad.
That's funny.
You know?
Yeah.
Because nobody asked nobody asked the customer,
Yeah.
would you buy this?
Yeah. Well, and it's so easy today with all the technology and social media. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is really easy now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, to ask people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at a widespread level with the click of a button, you know, now with technology, and I'm blown away how many vendors in this industry don't do that because it's so easy, you know, and they put millions of dollars into one group with no data,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think the big difference there is that you're asking the public, not a committee of furniture buyers.
Which is,
or
I guess
buyers.
they do have data because they're doing that, not asking the public. They're asking their customers, the buyers for XYZ furniture. You know.
One other thing that I talked about Bob Lutz and Guts, okay, and one of the reasons he wasn't big on doing that kind of information was he always felt it was like what caused the French to build the Maginot Line was like, what did we need in the last war, okay, versus what do we need in the next war? And, you know, when you ask people, they respond honestly, but it's what they would have liked to buy 6 months ago. Not
so
what they're going to want to buy 6 months from now. Because frankly, they have no idea what they're going to want to buy for 6 months from now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, it really is. And just like, you know, no different with how we secure ourselves as a country. You know, like
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
protecting ourselves from the things that have already happened.
Right.
And we don't know how to protect ourselves from the thing that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, where I saw it happen.
Because that hair's so pretty, I just figured that pink coat. I figured it's my opportunity to be a gentleman in front of our audience.
Sam,
Got you all fooled.
Thank you.
where I saw that firsthand on the
Nobody's
product
fooled.
development side.
They expected.
We used to travel to the Cologne fair, Cologne Expo, because the things you saw happening in Europe in kitchen cabinetry today were going to become important in American cabinetry next year.
Yeah.
And then important in furniture the year after.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And so we are recently planning on going to the European home furnishings and accessory shows as well, because it's the same. We're still trailing the Europe trends and styles. But then it's interesting too, because a lot of countries, or I guess we can say continents, follow ours as well, right? And so it just depends the two countries you're looking at, right? So we're trailing Europe. I keep saying countries, but it's a whole continent, right? But yeah, it is interesting.
Well, part of it is that American taste was horrible.
Yeah,
And now it's become better.
yeah,
Okay, so there's been a convergence.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think it's also become really homogenized too. You know, it used to be that you could see
in
a
U.S.
dude
or globally.
globally.
Yeah.
Like you could see somebody walking down the street and you could say, well, that guy's from New York. That guy's from Italy. You know, and you can't do that as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like everybody, and I think social media and the internet has connected us all, and so it's not so obvious.
I feel like I could spot somebody from Tibet a mile away.
That saffron robe is a giveaway, huh?
Edge case.
No, but we felt that way. I grew up in 3 years in high school, first 3 years, 72, 74, 74. I was in Germany. We would travel about. And you literally would say, he's from England, he's from
Really?
England. Yeah, because people had a distinct style. And I happen to agree, it's much more homogenized. And
Well, and it's the globalization of pop and culture, and also brands, right? Like, you know, just retail brands.
Yeah, everything. When I was, you know, in high school, there was a kid that would come down from New York. I lived in Florida, and he would come down from New York every summer, his family. And he always had different music and different clothes, you know, like music that I had never heard of, because you were kind of, like whatever was on your radio was what you were exposed to. And now that doesn't, like you don't hear music from other places like that. Where It's
Right.
different than, we're all listening to the same stuff,
Yeah.
you know, wearing the same stuff.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember as a kid, like, or a young adult, we had rap music that was from the South. That was, and it
Well, probably
you know,
even
versus
Houston. You might have had
Houston
Houston.
very specifically. Yeah, we had a lot of rap coming out of Houston, and New York rap or East Coast, West Coast rap were two very different genres.
And
And
like,
today's
I
just
hear
rap.
that. When
Yeah.
I come and hang out with you and your high school friends, and you guys will play stuff from your high school, and you're like, everybody's singing it. Everybody knows this, and everybody's getting hyped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're-
yeah,
How have you never heard this? Like, this was the biggest
Yeah.
thing when we were,
yeah,
nope, never heard that song.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that is going away.
right.
But
was there rap after Debbie Harry and Blondie?
What? Who? What?
She's the original rapper.
Oh,
You know,
look that up, Alex. Throw it on the screen. No.
we do a lot of call outs like that where we tell Alex to look something up and
Yeah.
and throw it into the final edit, and it doesn't ever happen.
Never, never. We did a break one time. We even did an audio break, like, hey, cut this out so we could talk about something, and then it just stays in there.
He does embellish the clips. a
I
little
love
bit.
those. Those
Yeah,
are my
we
favorite.
put
But
stuff
it's
into
only
the-
in the clips, not the full.
Yeah.
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 Which
we
makes
want
sense.
we want the raw,
Which-
the raw emotion.
Bet you do.
No,
So-
it's interesting. What your point you're making though about people's own little silos, you know, partly, and the fact that things have become more homogenous at the same time. In the furniture industry, the place where I saw things become more homogenous, and this showing age again, Broyles Fontana. Okay, so there was really a lot of difference. There was a regional difference in what people in Florida bought from people in New England bought, people in the Midwest bought, people in California bought. Okay, everybody loves Raymond was on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and they had a Fontana bedroom, and I'm not sure cause and effect, which caused which. Okay, but the Broyle Fontana at the time, and we're talking about 90s here, was the biggest group that had happened in 30 years in the furniture business. Okay, was it because of everybody loves Raymond? I don't know, but what the feeling was, or the takeaway I think was that everybody loves Raymond's bedroom was part of everybody's home. Okay, and so it became this kind of cross-cultural, whether it didn't matter if you were in Florida or in California or in Milwaukee or in Arizona. It's like you all related to that look, that one feel that was there. And it really hadn't been that way, I don't think, until that point. That was kind of like a major turning point where there was one thing that became a kind of a national common thread of, you know, like you were talking about as far as rap. I'm sure the rap thing, because I was never.
I was
into
just going
rap.
to say, you look like a big rap
I was
head.
never into rap, but I'm sure the rap thing is actually like tied to ages. It's like I'm sure the rap from 1995 is different from the rap from 2000. It's
Yeah,
different from the
yeah.
rap from 2005, 2010, and you know, it's like
For sure.
we don't know what the hell that is from 1995.
Yeah.
You hate
Yeah.
your kids' music.
Oh, it's awful. Terrible.
They have no taste.
Zero taste.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I
You're
put
required
myself
to
in my
respect,
dad's shoes.
right.
My dad used to tell me, I hate that music, you know, and like now I'm like, this ain't music, you know, it's like just, I'll never be like my dad. Turn that garbage off, you know, and like I am him.
Happens to all of us.
Well, I see it in, you know, I run these search campaigns all across the country. And so I can, you know, in a way, spot trends by what people are looking for. And it used to be, like when I was buying, we had a hard time finding coastal furniture for Florida. So if anybody ever introduced something coastal, we would buy it because, you know, you wanted to encourage that aesthetic. And but it was rare, and so now I'm seeing the word coastal show up in searches all across the country. So in the mountains, in places in the desert, in places where you wouldn't expect people to be looking for coastal style, which is, I don't know that the retailers even know that kind of thing is happening. Like we're seeing the searches for farmhouse dwindling, and coastal in places that aren't coastal is growing.
Interesting.
So I don't know where I was going with that, but just trying to throw it in there. Tango for all your search
Yeah,
needs.
no, I understand what you're saying. Was it
Makes it happen.
right? There isn't, in each market a specific look and feel that everybody is chasing after. It becomes there may be a preponderance of coastal in this market, or lodgepole in this market. Or,
Well, the lodgepole would be the one that's still like I'm only seeing that in the
Hold
mountains.
on. What is lodgepole?
It's like the stuff that looks like it's made out of logs.
Okay.
You know, like
We just call it lodgy.
well, what's wrong with
Lodger.
lodgepole?
I don't know.
Why are you so
I just have
offended by
never.
the lodgepole?
No, I'm not offended. I've just never heard it. That's why I was inquiring. I'm not offended. I'm trying to learn something today.
Cabin furniture.
Right.
You call it
Yeah.
cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So,
Anyway,
but that one's pretty unique still.
it is still pretty.
Only
That's
people
why I
up the
went there.
mountains.
Yeah, because it is pretty unique. But everything else has become. Everything else is present in every market. Okay, whether it's steampunk or like the old Brohill attic heirlooms, country farmhouse, oak feel, or it's coastal, or it's, when I grew up in furniture, the 18th century Georgian kind of look was huge. Well, now it's almost irrelevant, but it'll make a comeback one of these days because everything does. Everything comes back eventually.
Is the Louis Philippe
Louis Philippe
still a thing? We
for-
sold the fire out of that.
everybody did. People told me they had, like, I got 20 bedrooms on my floor, and 16 of them are, the 16 bestsellers are Louis Philippe. And I got it in white, I've got it in brown,
Yeah.
I've got it in red, I've got it in tall, I've got it in short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't even really in furniture, and I knew Louis Philippe.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Until I got to the point where the freight was more than the cost of the bed, the ocean freight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the downsides of this whole idea of becoming more homogenous is it's hard to find something that's interesting and unique.
Yeah.
Okay? So Louis Philippe, when it first started, started from France, literally. Okay, I'm trying to remember the name of the company that was the French company that was doing Louis Philippe. And then Schurmag in Canada knocked it off, and then it got passed into the U.S. and got knocked off and knocked off and knocked off, and all of a sudden it was being made in Vietnam for $112 for the bed, and and $399 for the 4-piece bedroom. But there was this idea of looking outside of your space for something new and different and taking a shot with it and see what happens. And if everybody's doing the same thing, it's hard to find something new and unique
Yeah.
and different and take a shot with it.
Yeah. What would you be doing if you weren't in furniture?
That's a hell of a question. Who knows?
I mean, you went to school you got a degree in political science.
Political science and economics. I went to school, I think I was going to become a lawyer, okay? And I became convinced I didn't want to be a lawyer. Probably a bad decision.
I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doing this.
I have very few regrets in life, okay? And that's not one of them.
I was gonna say, well, this is one of them is furniture.
But no, I don't know what I do. There are things I'm afraid that I might have ended up doing. I don't want to sell life insurance, and I don't want to be an accountant. Okay, that scares the hell out of me.
We were told that you're commissioner of a fantasy baseball league, and that you have been for 30 years.
Well, I haven't been commissioner for 32 years. Okay,
you-
the league's been around for 32
32.
years.
Oh, okay.
This league was early on. Tim Connors is the one who started the league. Okay, and it was just a Marlowe furniture league.
Okay.
You just have to go back. This is an era where all the stats and everything was done on a weekly basis because it all had to be faxed. Okay, we weren't operating in a real-time environment
Yeah.
like everything is today.
Yeah.
Okay, And it was a hell of a lot of fun. It was very successful with the group. Tim had lots of statistics that actually proved that it improved the profitability of the company to have fantasy baseball. Okay.
That's hilarious.
And it's just something I've done for a long time. Mark Stewart, who's president of Regency, is my fantasy baseball partner. We've been partners
didn't
since
know
the
that.
beginning, since 1994.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's cool.
great guy.
He
Love
is a
him.
good guy.
Yeah.
Well, if you had asked me when did fantasy baseball become a thing,
Like late 80s is when it first started.
I
would have
wouldn't.
said
I wouldn't have believed you.
I would have said with
without
the internet.
Yeah.
I would have said
No,
2000.
yeah.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
It took off. The interesting thing about fantasy baseball was USA Today newspaper, if you recall, blew up because of fantasy baseball.
I don't recall. Well,
Okay?
how? Why?
In the 90s.
Because they
okay,
posted
blew up
the
because
published the stats.
they had box scores. Before we had all this real-time information, we had to go through the box scores and read through all the information. And they put in your hotel, you got a USA Today.
I do remember that.
Okay.
I do remember that.
But if you were a traveler, not only did you get the one at your hotel, because the one at your hotel was printed at 2 o'clock in the morning, it didn't have all the box scores, because it didn't have the West Coast box scores. Now you went to the airport and you checked into the airport, and they had the now printed at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it did have all the box scores. So
they
fantasy
got you to buy
baseball
two.
guys were
You got
good for
two. You got to buy two.
And it truly blew up. And then the internet hurt the hell out of USA Today because now I don't need to do that anymore. I can
Yeah.
just go like this and get all the information.
Well, then the system that you're doing it in, I assume, tracks everything.
Yeah,
It
we
tells you.
we
you
use
don't-
CBS, but you can use Yahoo, or you can use ESPN or whatever. And they're multi-million-dollar platforms. So, I mean, these people are spending a lot of money and a lot of time to provide, and they provide a great product. But yeah, we did it when you did it, by fax. We have a lot of things that are effective on Mondays, and it's like, why don't we do it that way? Because that's the way we did it 34 years ago when it started. We did faxes once a week at noon.
My son asked me what a fax machine was. Yeah, felt old.
Yeah, it happens.
What
to
my
all of us.
dad was a mattress rep, and we had a fax machine on a separate phone number.
We
in the
still have
house. And on the weekend, the orders would come through on
Yeah.
the machine. You had
That's
to
why
make
to
sure
keep
there's
it plugged
always,
in.
paper.
Yeah,
Gotta
you
have
miss it. You
paper
miss
in
it. It doesn't sit there unread.
Yeah.
You miss it. You miss it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now we just get like spam faxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. You need roofing? Yeah, like
Who's doing like?
I
What
don't know.
advertising
I
company
don't
is
know.
selling that?
Well, there used to be a lot of travel things. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a fax.
yeah. I'll sell you one. We joke about one of our reps, like he would still fax orders in. And like, I shit you not, like about 2 years ago, we received an order from him in the mail. Snail mail. It was like,
Must ship immediately.
Yeah.
The mail's
good
gotten
stuff.
terrible.
God.
Well,
So, what else? What do you do for fun outside of the fantasy? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are you passionate about?
there's not a lot that I'm interested. I hate to admit it. I mean, I've been asked this question a number of times over the years, and I don't have a lot of extra interests. I mean, I'm interested in my kids. I have a daughter who's 39, a son who's 35. Okay, I have no grandchildren at this time. Neither of them are married. My daughter is engaged, but no date has been set. But obviously, their success is important to me. They're both great kids. They're brilliant. They're hardworking. My daughter has an MBA or a master's, not an MBA, but a master's from Vanderbilt. And my son has 2 degrees from Northwestern, trying to remember what the business school is here. Everybody always gets excited. I went to that business school, and they're working. They have their own lives and their own interests, and they're doing their own things. He's out in Seattle. I don't see him a lot. Hopefully, see him in the next 2 months. She's half the time in Nashville and half the time in the D.C. area. Then beyond that, I had as you were aware, I had a medical issue the last couple of years, and kind of over that. But I've been trying to get a lot of exercise and be able to move around, and it's all going well. So, I mean, those are the big things. I'm getting to that point where soon I'm going to have to retire. Not have to retire, want to retire. I'm fortunate enough to have pretty good health. My wife has pretty good health, but we ain't getting younger. And I've watched too many people in this industry hold on too long, and when they retire, they can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so, I never thought I'd want to retire, and now
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
thinking
see you
that,
doing that, but it makes sense.
it's like, yeah, you're only going to get so many years that you can. I watched my parents. My mother went downhill mentally more than physically, and it was horrible to watch. And she had a terrible last 10 years. And my father's terrible last 10 years was he was taking care of my mother for 10 years. But take advantage of the health and things generally good, and hopefully travel and do what we want. Beyond that, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. My wife says you better do something.
Well, I think it's important to have those things lined up before you retire. Like,
Right.
get into those hobbies prior to, because I think hobbies are so important, and they get overlooked. But I think it's an important part of mental health, especially.
World's got to be one of the world's 100 worst golfers.
Do you enjoy it? Who cares?
I am
Do you enjoy
freaking
it?
horrible.
Do you enjoy it?
I enjoy going out.
Okay.
But and I'm not a terrible athlete. Okay, which is the frustrating part. I was a really good skier.
Yeah.
Okay, I played men's competitive soccer into my 40s. Okay, I played lacrosse, baseball, football in high school. Maybe not always varsity, but sometimes. I've wrestled in college, okay? And yet, man, at golf, I just suck.
Don't worry, I do too. May I suggest gardening?
Yeah. My kids gave me a cup that says, world's okayest golfer. and I said, this is aspirational for me.
You have to become okay.
They overshot it. It's fine.
So, FMG has 100 members.
Right.
Which one do you like the least?
Well,
Oh, wait.
were I to answer that question, I would have to give you 10 answers at least, just to cover my ass. Just to cover my ass.
All right, let's go. I'll keep count. This is going to get ratings.
Well, I pick guys who aren't as involved as they should be, so that won't help. They won't notice. Our members, many of them are great. I love working with them. I don't always agree with them,
Of course.
but I'm pretty strongly opinionated anyway that I'm right and screw everybody else.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
The charm school.
Yeah, work like a charm.
We have a good group. It's the most professional group in the industry. Our guys, when I say our guys, FMG members aren't uniformly brilliant. Okay, collectively they're pretty damn smart though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're certainly all leading the way in their specific geographical locations.
Well,
know,
they have
you
to have
guys
a certain amount of revenue to become a member, right?
Yeah,
That's
they-
one of the criteria. So they've got to be doing
Yeah, they've got
world's
to be
okayest furniture stores.
exactly. They've got to at least try achieve that status.
Yeah.
But by and large, when we see this on the service side more than the furniture side. Okay, and the service side is there's a lot of things happening in marketing and digital and whatnot. Our members tend to be the innovators within the industry. Okay, now our industry tends to be like 7 or 8 years behind the times.
At least.
Okay, so I mean, this is like being the 7-footer on the 6th grade basketball team. I mean, you're probably successful. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
Is there a retailer that you want to be a member that's not yet?
I don't know who they are. Okay, there's got to be somebody out in the San Francisco Bay Area. I mean, we don't have. This is the highest income area in America, the highest education level in America. We can't find anybody who's a qualified retail store to be a member. Okay, which is bizarre. Okay, how can I find a member in St. Louis and pick a town in Wisconsin or in Arkansas, but I can't find somebody in a market that's got, I don't know, something like 12 million people, and the highest income market and the highest educated market, and apparently everybody out there lives with either designer home or has got what we used to have in college, which is boards and concrete blocks, and that's furniture.
Yeah.
And so, what do you do at FMG?
That's a good question. I try and emulate George Costanza pushing the shopping cart around. So, it's like how can I make everybody think I'm actually doing something? But,
And you want to be my latex salesperson. Art Vandelay.
no, we do everything. Mike and I.
Yeah, how do y'all
Mike and
divide?
Michael and all. Okay, Mike does plumbing and vacuuming. I do a lot more cleaning in the kitchen area and taking out trash.
It's awesome.
We do everything. Everybody does everything. There's no clearly defined roles. Actually, I think clearly defined roles within businesses are another one of those good and bad things.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like everybody needs to be part of the cause.
Yeah.
Whatever the cause is and whatever the cause requires, you need to step up and be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm in a unique position where we went from very, very small to sizable, not giant, but, the second you said that's not my job, you're fired, right? And you want everybody to wear any hat that is required. And ideally, they'll put that hat on because they see the need for it, not because they're asked. But that being said, for scale, you have to have clearly defined things. And if you see something that isn't getting done, it needs to go into somebody's job description. That's the only way to scale. Otherwise, it becomes chaotic. So like you said, it's needed, but you also kind of want everybody to be able to do everything.
Well, and I think FMG isn't a thing that would ever scale.
Right.
Like, I mean,
They don't-
more
they don't-
members maybe, but it's not.
But they don't want it to. They
Right.
want the 100, they want to keep it at the, right?
Well, we'd be happy for it to go up, but not. We don't want 150 members.
Right.
Okay, if we had 108.
Right.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's not a really scale.
Right,
When
right.
people talk about scale today, they're talking about how do you go from 10 million to 10 billion
Yep.
to 10 trillion.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we're not going there.
Trillion. He jumped to trillion. God, who are you
Well,
talking
trillion
to? Introduce
didn't
me.
used to be a number that you talked about,
Yeah.
but now you got
Now it's a
companies
real
with
number,
$4 trillion valuation.
It's crazy.
Well, that was nice because we were able to pick the best sellers and things like that. What you found was,
Bitch, I can see you falling asleep while I'm telling my
I'm
story.
not falling asleep. Look, just try it.
You would be, not a little, you would be.